Hey, welcome back to Life Made Simple, getting you through this narcissistic world. So, what we're going to talk about today are those healing methods that I've been bragging about that has gotten me to 59 years old, has allowed me to be the top agent in my office, and also has allowed me to be at 59 years old and I'm on no medication. I've had a struggle. Many of you know it. I've put out quite a few videos about my struggles. And those struggles, many of them lasted quite some time. As you know, I went through 12 years of the dark night of the soul. Today, I'm happily married. I've gone through much healing, mind, body, and spirit. So what we're going to talk about is why are so many people struggling today? Physically sick, mentally sick, emotionally sick. Why, why are we not able to find that balance? It's because I think we're looking in the wrong place most of the time. I was for many years. I didn't look at myself the way I am designed. I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience. Let me say that again. We are all spiritual beings having a physical experience. Basically, once we pass on, our body is dust to dust, spirit lives on. Everything we're supposed to be doing here on earth is living for that spiritual self, or should I say spirit self? How's that? Meaning, when I talk about spiritual, I'm not talking about religion or anything of that nature. I'm talking about the spirit being, okay? Think about this. What actually makes your heart beat? Yep, that infinite source, our infinite source, or that energy. Once we pass away, all that energy leaves the body. So what we want to talk about is, why are we struggling so much? Well, one, there's life laws and life rules that apply to our life. That was one of the reasons I wrote the book, is to lay out how I went through my healing. By the way, somebody had asked me and said, "Oh, I don't need another narcissist book, another book on narcissism." And I want to make sure I emphasize before I get into this today that that book is not about narcissism. That's about going through all the hell I did after the narcissism and the pain and how I healed myself, how I figured it out. That book talks maybe a couple of pages on narcissism, but the rest of it's all about healing. So if you haven't gotten it, I highly recommend it. So far, we've got straight 5-star reviews. I've got a guarantee behind it. And if anybody listening to this now has purchased the book, please leave a comment below. I'd like to hear what you have to say about it and let others know. I really wrote that from my heart, and now I've started these videos to help people as well. My goal through all these videos is to get a comment one day saying, "Joe, you really helped me out. I'm thriving now." That right there will make my day, I assure you. I started off when I wrote that book that if I can help one person get through this and have a better life and live the life they were meant to, then that's all worth it. As you know, as most people know by now, that I am now married to the love of my life. There's so much toxicity growing up in my childhood. I didn't know how to live life. I just got out there and busted it, did things other people weren't willing to do, and thrived in life financially. And then I crashed because my mind, body, and spirit was not aligned. It was not in harmony with one another. Once we get those all aligned, our whole body is at ease. That's where the word comes from, dis-ease. When they are no longer at ease, we're now in dis-ease. So you can have disease of the mind, the body, or the spirit, and they kind of are in harmony with one another. If one's low, the other's is probably going to pull the other down. So my recommendation is look at what is going on and figure out what is best for you. I go outside the traditional methods, and I'm going to talk a little bit about those today. I don't know how much YouTube will allow me to talk about it, so we'll see. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is trapped emotions. There are MDs out there that even confirm, yes, there are such things as trapped emotions. There's a licensed therapist out there that agree there are trapped emotions. But where this first came out, I believe, was through quantum physics and through um, homeopathic methods of healing. The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. I actually I read that book. I went through several years of healing through trapped emotions, getting those released, and now I've become a practitioner. However, I'm not actively practicing at this time because I'm got so many irons in the fire. So, trapped emotions, for instance, what that basically is, this is the great thing about it, is once you understand what it is, you don't trap emotions anymore. So as you're releasing them, you're not taking in new ones. And this is where I get into, um, when I talk about forgiveness, a lot of that anger we hold in, bitterness, are the trapped emotions. It just ties your whole body tight. It's going to cause what? A dis-ease within your body. So the trapped emotions, it's kind of simple. It's basically an energy that's trapped throughout the body that's causing a reaction. Now, when I say through the body, we have a spirit body and a physical body that kind of fit like a glove. One overlaps the other. So if you go into any type of chakras, things of that nature, and reflexology, I've learned a little bit about all this stuff. But bottom line is, our mind, body, and spirit needs to be in harmony with one another and grounded. I talk about grounding in my book too. Earthing is being able to find that balance, to have that peace, live in peace and harmony. A lot of people are looking for happiness. They're chasing it. They can't find it. They have no idea why. We need to understand where this sickness really is. And once you understand why it's there and where it is, you can then usually do something about it. There are other methods. Like I said, I've tried different type. Um, I'll just say some other things outside. Just where if y'all have some questions and want me to give you more information, I'll be glad to. I've had an angel reading done before. I've had past life regression done before. I'm very good at dowsing, and I'd be glad to share more about that on a separate video. Dowsing is basically using that higher power, that energy that we have. And we can actually manipulate energy for the better. In other words, we can clean up energy. I was trained by one of the best in the nation, and I'm getting better every day at it, and I love doing it because it really does. And I'll give you an example of what it does. And I don't have a pendulum here with me right at this moment to show you, but when I douse, my wife can come in there and say, I've got a headache. She said, I'm going to go lay down in a minute, for a minute. And I say, okay. And I'll get out my dowsing stuff. And because a lot of times I'll ask her, well, how do you rate your headache? And she'll say, oh, I think it's a migraine. It's a 10. I said, okay. So I'll start dowsing to remove that detrimental energy. Any detrimental or unbeneficial energy, I remove it from her. And then I'll ask her a little while later, how are you feeling? Oh, and this is 15 minutes later. So when I say a little while, I'm just talking 10 to 15 minutes. She's like, oh, it's a 2 now. She said, were you dowsing? And I said, yeah. So this stuff works faster than a lot of medication does. But once you understand and you have faith in it, it's amazing how well it works. So that is another source I use. So what I want to do is let you know more than anything is open the mind. Open your mind to ways that have not been used traditionally. Think of it this way, whatever you're doing, and if you're sick and something's not working, try something else. Keep trying things until you find something that works. And that's what I did. At 50 years old, I was still struggling. I couldn't even hardly function. I couldn't hardly work. My anxiety, my depression, it was horrible. So that's when I opened a thrift store for the homeless. It allows, at least allowed me to get out of the house and to work a job where I could help people. And that's soon after that, my wife came back into my life. As most of you know, I knew her at 15, 16 years old, but our lives went different ways. And we reconnected over 30 years later, and we're happily married today. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So I feel like struggling and still looking for answers allow things to slowly line up. Sometimes it just takes the higher power time to line everything up in your life. You can't work on it a week and say, oh, it's not working. You gotta just keep focusing on what you want the result to be. Keep focusing on what you want the outcome to be. Hopefully this helps you to know more about some of the different things I've done. So if you would like to know more, for instance, um, I'll tell you a little bit more about, for instance, past life regression. I think Dolores Cannon, she's one of the people that specialized in that back in even into the 60s. She's passed away now, but I believe her daughter does a lot, and she's got a lot of books out as well. So then I had an angel reading done. So angel reading was interesting, and I didn't realize it at the time, but the girl I had the angel reading done has done books and things with Dolores Cannon and her printing company. So I thought it was interesting how small the world gets when you get into this looking for alternative ideas and thoughts, and you want to raise your consciousness level. This world is very small when you start connecting with other people in this world. This higher level of thinking. You want to raise your consciousness. You want to be open-minded, and you want to be receptive. The closed-minded people are the ones that are doomed. So it's entirely up to you. But I will tell you, it has completely changed my life. Just to recap, I'm almost 60 years old, no medication. I went through 12 years dark night of the soul. Just a few years ago, I was #1 agent in my office with almost $1 million in gross commission income. So how in the world can you go from not working to doing that, and now you're on no medication as well? And I'm married to the love of my life. Things will fall into place. The key is to never ever give up, no matter what you do. Don't ever give up. I've had some of my darkest days and wondered how I even got through them. I literally, there's days I look back and I don't know how I got through. I was so depressed, and just my will to live was so low. My desire to go on another day, I didn't see any meaning. I didn't see any purpose. Both my parents, even as an adult, have turned their back and betrayed me. I always heard that family's everything, right? Didn't realize that I could create another family of my own, and now they're my everything. The very people I tried to love pushed me away. That's their loss. They lost out, didn't they? So you're an amazing human being. You're amazing, and that's why I do these channels, because I want you to live the life you were meant to live. You were born the perfect you. Now it's your job to become the best you. And through all these videos, I'm hoping to help you understand how to find that balance of mind, body, and spirit. Hopefully this has been a good video for you. Let me know below, and I'll be glad to answer any questions, or I can do another video on anything in particular if you'd like to know. Life Made Simple. Getting you through this narcissistic world. This is Joe. From my heart to yours, I wish you nothing but blessings. Bye-bye.